Welcome back to Good Old Era, where we peel back the curtain on the films that shaped our world. Today, we're diving deep into The Deer Hunter, the 1978 masterpiece that tore open the wounds of the Vietnam War. Directed by Michael Cimino and starring icons like Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and Meryl Streep, this film didn't just win 5 Oscars. It changed how we see war, friendship, and trauma. But behind its unforgettable scenes lie chilling truths. From soul-crushing production nightmares to real-life tragedies that haunt the film to this day. In this video, we're uncovering 10 dark facts about The Deer Hunter you were never supposed to know. These stories of sacrifice, controversy, and heartbreak will leave you stunned. And trust me, stick around until the end for a fact so powerful. It'll reshape how you view this cinematic legend. Let's step into the shadows of The Deer Hunter. Fact 1. The Russian roulette scenes were too real. Prisoners forced to play a deadly game, with every trigger pull a gamble with death. But what made these scenes so visceral wasn't just great acting. It was how terrifyingly real they felt for the cast. Robert De Niro, known for his relentless method acting, took the stakes to another level. He insisted on using real blanks in the revolvers. Not props, but actual blanks that produced a deafening bang and added physical weight to the guns. In a 1979 Rolling Stone interview, De Niro said, "I wanted to feel the recoil, the fear, the reality of it." The sound alone was so jarring that crew members flinched during takes. John Savage, who played Steven, described the experience as emotionally suffocating in a 1980 documentary. He and De Niro would spend hours psyching themselves up, staring into each other's eyes to channel the terror of POWs. The set was silent between takes, with the crew reportedly shaken by the intensity. Cimino, ever the perfectionist, demanded multiple takes, sometimes over 20 for a single shot, pushing the actors to their mental limits. Some crew members later admitted they worried about the psychological toll, with one assistant director noting, "It felt like we were crossing a line." To heighten the realism, Cimino used real Thai extras as Viet Cong soldiers, some of whom didn't speak English, adding to the chaotic atmosphere. The actors weren't just performing, they were living a nightmare. That raw fear you see on screen? Fact 2. Christopher Walken's extreme transformation. Its portrayal of Nick, a man broken by war, is a masterclass in acting. His hollow eyes and shattered spirit earned him a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. But to become Nick, Walken pushed his body and mind to the edge in ways that stunned even his co-stars. To embody Nick's emaciated, traumatized state, Walken went on an extreme diet of rice and bananas for weeks, shedding over 20 pounds. His cheekbones became razor-sharp, his eyes sunken, giving him a ghostly appearance that amplified the film's harrowing tone. In a 1980 Playboy interview, Walken said, "I wanted to feel the hunger, the emptiness Nick felt. It wasn't just about looking the part, it was about living it." But it wasn't just physical. Walken immersed himself in research, reading first-hand accounts of Vietnam POWs and studying their psychological descent. He'd isolate himself on set, pacing alone and muttering lines to stay in character. Meryl Streep, in a 2007 Vanity Fair interview, recalled, "Chris was like a ghost, there but not there. It was chilling to watch." The crew grew concerned as Walken's health visibly deteriorated, with some urging him to eat more between takes. Walken's commitment extended to his emotional preparation. He studied addiction and PTSD, drawing parallels to Nick's spiral into gambling and despair. In one scene where Nick wanders Saigon streets, Walken improvised subtle tics like twitching his hands to show his character's fractured mind. That haunting performance wasn't just acting. It was a transformation that left a mark on everyone who saw it. Fact 3. The Vietnam War controversy. It was a bold, raw depiction of the war's toll, but it ignited a firestorm of controversy that still sparks debate today. The Russian roulette scenes, where Viet Cong soldiers forced POWs to play for their lives, were criticized for historical inaccuracy. Historians like Robert L. Miller, in a 1979 Journal of American History article, argued there's no evidence such games were common in POW camps. Critics, including Vietnamese American groups, accused the film of portraying the Viet Cong as one-dimensional villains, fueling anti-Asian stereotypes. In a 1979 New York Times piece, critic Peter Steinfels called the depiction a dangerous caricature. Vietnam banned the film outright, and protests erupted at screenings in the US and Europe. Director Michael Cimino defended the choice, arguing in a 1978 press conference that the scenes were symbolic of war's randomness, not a documentary. Supporters, including some veterans, praised the film for capturing the psychological chaos of conflict. Film scholar Linda Dittmar noted in a 1980 essay that the roulette metaphor speaks to the existential dread of war, not its literal events. Yet the controversy shaped the film's legacy, raising questions about artistic license versus cultural sensitivity. On platforms like X in 2025, fans still debate the issue. A recent thread called the film a gut punch that doesn't pull back, while others criticized its problematic lens. This divide shows the deer hunter's power to provoke. What's your stance, artistic freedom or historical accuracy? Fact 4. John Cazale's heartbreaking final role. Cazale, already a legend for The Godfather and Dog Day Afternoon, was diagnosed with lung cancer before production began. Fearing the studio, EMI Films, would fire him, Robert De Niro and Michael Cimino kept his illness a secret, restructuring the shooting schedule to prioritize his scenes. Meryl Streep, Cazale's partner, stayed by his side, helping him through grueling days on set. In a 2007 Vanity Fair interview, Streep recalled, "John was so brave, pouring everything into Stan despite the pain." His frail appearance added a haunting depth to the character, especially in scenes where Stan's bravado masks his vulnerability. Cimino later said in a 1980 documentary that Cazale's performance was a gift to the film, born from courage. Tragically, Cazale passed away in March 1978, months before the film's release, at age 42. His 5-film career, all nominated for Best Picture, is unmatched in Hollywood history. Fact 5. Brutal filming conditions in Thailand. To bring the Vietnam War to life, The Deer Hunter was shot in Thailand's jungles, and the conditions were as brutal as the story itself. The cast and crew endured a grueling shoot that tested their limits. The prisoner of war camp scenes were filmed in 100-degree F+ heat, with humidity so thick it felt like breathing water. Real rats and mosquitoes swarmed the set, and actors like De Niro and Savage were submerged in muddy rivers for dangerous stunts. The river escape scene, where Mike and Stephen flee, was shot without stunt doubles, with the actors battling real currents. In a 1978 Variety interview, cinematographer Vilmo Zsigmond called it the toughest shoot of my career. Cimino's obsession with realism meant no shortcuts. He used real Thai locals as extras, some former soldiers, to add authenticity. The crew worked 16-hour days, battling dehydration and illness. One assistant cameraman reportedly collapsed from heat exhaustion. The result? Scenes so vivid they sear into your memory. But they came at a steep physical and mental cost. The actors' exhaustion mirrors their characters' despair, blurring the line between fiction and reality. Ever wonder what it takes to make a film this intense? Fact 6. De Niro's emotional connection to veterans. Its portrayal of Mike, a veteran struggling to reconnect with his old life, is the emotional backbone of The Deer Hunter. But his performance was rooted in real stories of Vietnam veterans he sought out before filming. De Niro spent weeks visiting veterans' homes, attending support groups, and listening to their experiences of alienation, guilt, and PTSD. In a 1980 American film interview, he said, "I wanted to understand what it means to come back and feel like you don't belong." His research shaped Mike's quiet, haunted demeanor, especially in improvised scenes like the moment he hesitates outside the welcome home party. De Niro also worked with the cast to infuse their performances with authenticity. He'd share veteran stories with Walken and Savage, fostering a shared sense of responsibility. One veteran De Niro met described feeling like a ghost in my own town, a sentiment that echoes in Mike's final scenes. De Niro became an advocate for veterans post-release, supporting organizations like the Vietnam Veterans of America. Fact 7. A studio on the brink of collapse. The Deer Hunter is a cinematic triumph, but it nearly bankrupted EMI Films. Michael Cimino's ambitious vision pushed the studio to the edge of collapse. The film's budget started at $8 million but ballooned to over $15 million due to Cimino's perfectionism. He built an entire small-town set in Ohio, complete with a working steel mill, and demanded elaborate details like authentic street signs. The Thailand shoot was a logistical nightmare, with equipment delays and costly reshoots. A 1979 Los Angeles Times report detailed EMI's panic, with executives fearing the film would flop. De Niro and producer Michael Cimino fought to keep the project alive, with De Niro reportedly deferring his salary to cover costs. When the film premiered, it grossed over $50 million and won 5 Oscars, saving EMI, but the stress left lasting scars. Cimino's reputation for extravagance haunted him later, as we'll see. Fact 8. Censorship and global backlash. The Deer Hunter's raw intensity shocked audiences, leading to censorship and outrage in some corners of the world. The graphic Russian roulette scenes and war atrocities prompted cuts in countries like the UK, where censors trimmed violent moments to soften the impact. Vietnam banned the film outright, citing its portrayal of the Viet Cong as offensive. A 1979 Washington Post article reported walkouts at U.S. screenings, with some viewers overwhelmed by the brutality. Protests erupted in cities like San Francisco, where activists called the film propaganda. Yet the film also had defenders. Roger Ebert, in his 1979 review, called it a cry of pain for a generation. The divide highlighted the film's power to provoke, forcing audiences to confront war's horrors. In 2025, X posts still reflect this split, with some users praising its emotional truth and others critiquing its politics. Fact 9. The fall of Michael Cimino. Fresh off 5 Oscars, Cimino poured his ambition into Heaven's Gate, 1980. A Western epic that spiraled out of control. The budget soared to $44 million, with Cimino demanding thousands of extras and lavish sets. The film grossed less than $4 million, bankrupting United Artists and earning scathing reviews. A 1985 New York Times profile quoted Cimino saying, "The pressure after The Deer Hunter was crushing." The failure tarnished Cimino's career, and he never regained his former glory. Industry insiders labeled him reckless, and studios grew wary of auteur-driven projects. The Deer Hunter remained his masterpiece, but it cast a long shadow over his legacy. Cimino's rise and fall is a cautionary tale. Fact 10. Triggering trauma for veterans. Released when the war's wounds were still fresh, the film hit veterans hard. A 1979 Time magazine article quoted a veteran who said, "It showed the world what we couldn't say." Others found it unbearable, with the Russian roulette scenes and PTSD depictions triggering painful memories. Some VA hospitals reported veterans seeking counseling after screenings. The film's raw honesty sparked conversations about mental health, contributing to better support for veterans. But it also exposed a harsh truth. Art can heal, but it can also hurt. In 2025, X-users still share stories of veterans moved by the film, with one post calling it the only movie that gets what war does to your soul. Additional insights. The enduring legacy of The Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter isn't just a film, it's a cultural milestone. Let's explore its lasting impact through new lenses. Vilmos Zsigmond's cinematography gave The Deer Hunter its soul. The contrast between the lush Pennsylvania landscapes and the claustrophobic Vietnam scenes mirrors the character's loss of innocence. Zsigmond used natural light to enhance realism, earning an Oscar nomination. In a 1980 American cinematographer interview, he said, "We wanted the visuals to feel like memory, beautiful, then brutal." The 20-minute wedding scene, shot over 5 days, is a masterclass in immersive storytelling, with handheld cameras capturing raw emotion. The film score, especially Cavatina by Stanley Myers, is iconic. Its delicate guitar melody underscores the film's themes of loss and longing. Cimino chose the piece to evoke nostalgia, and it became synonymous with the film's emotional core. In 2025, X-users still share clips of the song, with one post calling it the sound of heartbreak. The soundtrack's minimalist approach set a trend for war films, prioritizing emotion over bombast. Awards and industry impact. The Deer Hunter won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor for Walken. It beat out strong contenders like Midnight Express and Coming Home, cementing its place in history. The wins validated riskier, auteur-driven films, though Heaven's Gate's failure later curbed that trend. The film's success also launched Meryl Streep's career, earning her a first Oscar nomination. In 2025, the deer hunter remains a touchstone. Its influence is seen in films like 1917 and The Hurt Locker, which prioritize personal stories over spectacle. On X, fans praise its raw performances but debate its politics, with one user saying, "It's messy, but that's why it's real." The film's exploration of trauma resonates in today's discussions of mental health, especially for veterans. Its deer hunting metaphor, control versus chaos, still sparks academic analysis, with a 2023 study calling it a timeless allegory for war's toll. Beyond the main facts, the cast's preparation was intense. De Niro learned to hunt and spent time in steel mills to understand Mike's world. Streep improvised much of Linda's emotional arc, drawing from her own experiences. The wedding scene used real locals as extras, who brought their own traditions, adding authenticity. Cimino's attention to detail, like insisting on period-accurate costumes, made the film a time capsule of 1960s America. The Deer Hunter paved the way for character-driven war films like Platoon and Born on the 4th of July. Its focus on psychological scars inspired TV shows like MASH***s later seasons and even video games like Spec Ops: The Line, which explore war's moral ambiguity. Its legacy is a testament to its bold storytelling. Some films tell a story, others carve it into your soul. The Deer Hunter did both, and paid a price that echoes today. And there you have it, 10 dark facts about the Deer Hunter that reveal the blood, sweat, and tears behind this cinematic titan. From De Niro's fearless method acting to Cazale's heartbreaking final role, from Thailand's brutal jungles to the controversy that shook the world, this film is a testament to the cost of telling hard truths. In 2025, its legacy endures, challenging us to face the scars of war and the power of art. Which fact hit you hardest? Was it Walken's transformation, the studio's near collapse, or the veterans' raw reactions? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk. If this deep dive blew your mind, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss a video. Craving more movie secrets? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.